And welcome back to the Discovery Workshop ASMR. And today I'm just doing a short video update on my pair of red factor canaries, and also my little buddy I've just let out for feed. I got a bit of sad news. Yeah, the other day the hen spent too much time out of the nest, and I think she lost all her babies. I think they died. She's only supposed to, I think, spend about 20 minutes out of the nest, and yeah, she come out for a bit of a fly here, and she had a bit of a bath and was drying off, and I think it just took too long. Yeah, they're not supposed to spend any longer than 20 minutes, around about that, off the nest, and plus it's relatively cold. Like we aren't quite yet into the better part of spring yet. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think that when we get into the better part of spring, it should help maintain um, the hen's brooding state. Um, yeah, it was a bit sad because yesterday I saw even the male on the nest, like, and she was feeding him and that. Um, I think the first baby hatched on Monday this week, the 8th of September. And I think it took about 16 days to hatch, if it was the first egg that was laid. Yeah. So what I've done here is I've put the divider in, to give the hen a bit of a break from the male, but I'm going to let them out soon and that sort of thing, and yeah, but it's just to give her a bit of a break from him, and also sort of so they'll miss each other a little bit, and that might kind of have them more flirty to start over, because if you look in the nest there, I think there's only one egg left. I don't know if it's fertile or anything. She's not sitting on it a great deal, and I don't really want to interfere. So yeah, I could take it out and put it under a candle and see if it's fertile, but I'm just going to leave it for a bit, let them sort it out. But there were four eggs. I think three of them hatched, and now there's I last saw one left, and I don't know where the babies went. And I saw a bit of the eggshells all mashed up into the nest a little, but I try not to bother their nest. But I see that she's built it a bit thicker in the base, so it's a bit warmer. But yeah, how to keep her in that brooding state, because she was really good for quite a while. She was sitting on the eggs and on the babies, and I think even feeding one of the babies. But I think what the experts do is they take the eggs away, until they've laid like a full clutch of them. So then they put them all back, and that way they all hatch around the same time, so none of them gets neglected and die in the nest, and then because of the smell maybe or something, the hen abandons the whole nest, or something puts her off the nest and she doesn't want to, or she gets distracted, with having fun flying around, and forgets about them, and doesn't get on the nest soon enough, and they get a bit of a chill because of the temperature isn't the best, because we aren't quite yet in the best part of spring. Like, I've got a temperature gauge here, and as you can see, like it's not ideal. It should be around 75 Fahrenheit, or around almost 25 degrees Celsius. So, but at the moment we're under 60 Fahrenheit, and almost I think 14 degrees Celsius. So that's if this gauge is very reliable. So yeah, and I see I got her enjoying herself on the grass seed, and that seems to be their favourite. And she's got a bit. I got a bit of puha there for her too. Hopefully she eats it. It's all fresh, but the puha doesn't stay as fresh and that as long as the grass seed, which is their favourite. Um, yeah, so this is just a bit of unfortunate news. Um, yeah, I think all the babies died. I was a bit disheartened. There's been a bit of bad news lately, and even from my end, um, with this tragedy. So it's like lately there's just been death, which is a bit sad. I think the male should have done more to keep the babies alive in this situation. Um, like when she was off the nest for so long, he should have just gone on the nest and kept the babies warm. But he was too busy having fun. So, and I didn't know what to do because, I haven't got the brooding equipment and that. So, but I did see a neat little brooding container that's got kind of like a heat mat that plugs into a USB. Um, that could be handy for newly hatched chicks that maybe aren't quite being looked after properly, or just to ensure their survival. Um, and I also saw that these days there's these brooding plates that you can set to what sort of like different heights and stuff. And there's like a little, they're good for like things like quail and that. So a brooding plate and a like a brooding container with the little heat mat, I think might be good on standby, as well as a pair of Bengalese, which make good foster parents. They're another type of sort of like fertile hybrid, and apparently they make excellent foster parents. A lot of experts keep those on standby. Um, but see, I'm not prepared. I'm not properly organised, and plus I paired them up too early. Um, they're supposed to sort of pair up, in the better part of spring. Um, but even my divider's not the best, and I like to let them have more space to enjoy. And with the cabinet divider like this, they don't have a lot of space to fly around and exercise and that. But this is how I see the cabinet system kind of work. With the people that supposedly experts, like this is a reasonable size cabinet. Um, like a bit bigger than I think what most people use. So I would have thought it would be um, okay, but I like to see them be able to fly around a bit. Um, whereas with this, they kind of don't really get much of a flap with their wings with the divider, and that's why I kind of avoided the using the divider. Um, so I think the first egg hatched on Monday, the 8th of September, and I think it would have taken. It might have been the one that was first laid 16 days ago. Um, that's if it was that first egg, and I've got other things also. I'm trying to manage, like like things that I want to prepare for them as food, because you notice they really love the grass seed. But for grass seed to grow, they need to be put through like a cold stratification. Same with my manuka. I put my manuka seeds in the fridge for 6 weeks of cold stratification, and at the moment in my little greenhouse there on the shelf is just my panga that I'm trying to grow. Um, and those panga spores, they can take ages to begin to take off. And so this is my first attempt. Um, yes, I'm kind of trying to do aviculture in conjunction with horticulture. Um, yeah, so um, I think I'll let them out now for a bit of a fly because they've been separated for most of the morning, and I think I should introduce them back together again. So let's let's open this up and take this out. Let's give them some exercise. Let them go back to enjoying themselves. Um, yeah, hopefully this cheers them up a bit. So that's all three out. Um, so they can yeah, can now have some fun. She's probably had heaps of. That's if there's a she. I'm not sure if because that one sings a bit, but it's supposed to be a she, and she's had plenty of grass seed, um, and greens and that. So that's just letting these fellas out to enjoy as well. Um, yeah, so and yeah, be reacquainted and have a little bath and that. Um, yeah, canaries they don't tend to survive in the wild in New Zealand because we're too cold, and but there are some feral ones that survive in some part of Hawaii. I might leave a link in the description to it, and that was due to early coal miners that released them. Um, that released them back in the day, and yeah, Hawaii also has another species of canary. Um, and I'll mention the name of it in the description. I forget the name of it now. I should have written it down on my little script that I'm trying to run off for this video. Yeah, I don't normally do scripted videos, but I thought to try and do this one because my last one turned to custard when she spent too much time off the nest, and yeah, let her babies freeze. So I deleted that video. I was bit it was a bit of a sad video to document because she had been really good lately, and I thought I was on to a win. I thought, oh geez, I got some babies, hatching, and everything should be good. Should be um, full steam ahead kind of thing, but no, it didn't pan out that way. And I think the one egg that's left in that nest, I'm not sure if that's died in its shell or not, but I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to poke around her nest. I think I'll just let nature take its course. And if I have a successful season and have a baby or two from them, that'll be awesome. I was hoping to have four. I was hoping to have at least four babies, but they do mate a lot. They are a bit randy and that, but I think yesterday she was acting a little bit annoyed with the male that was trying to chat her up and sing to her. So I thought to divide them for a bit. Yeah, so the other species of canary that they have in Hawaii, it's not the Atlantic canary. Like these are from the Atlantic canary. It's one more from like the mainland of I think North Africa and that around that area. I forget the name of it. I should have Google searched it before doing this video. But they can hybridize with the Atlantic canary, and you get a thing called hybrid vigor. You get a hybrid vigor effect, but they're a bit smaller than this variety. But I think they're a bit hardier. But yeah, that's mainly what they got in Hawaii, flying around wild. But these ones, the feral, yeah, apparently there are some feral ones. I forget which part of Hawaii or whereabouts exactly. Um, but I researched it a while ago, so yeah, and that was due to the coal miners that released them. um, yeah, they look quite happy now. On my windowsill, munching grass seed. Um, yeah. At some point, I want to do a tour of our Te Papa Museum and do a bit of a sort of a documentary on things, because I do kind of fancy myself a little bit of a history buff. I know a little bit about New Zealand history and all that, so I figure, maybe a little documentary on some New Zealand history while I wander around the Te Papa Museum might be a good one to put on my channel. So yeah, if that interests any of my viewers, yeah, stay tuned for that. I got lots of plans. Um, I got a big glider that has beautiful LEDs and stuff that's been getting a bit wrecked lately because I've been falling down and all that sort of thing. And I gotta suss out my gyro with it, figure it out how to activate it and all that sort of thing, and a few little hurdles. But I do plan to fly that at some point. It's like a big flying Christmas tree, so hopefully I can get to fly that around Christmas time. I got also my ornithopters. I got a scarlet macaw ornithopter I got to fix up. I got to do this. I got to do a sort of a video on my Tamiya RX-7 sort of thing, and I got a number of things. I got a greenhouse to build, seeds to grow, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so a bit on my plate that because this is like an everything and anything type of channel. And I plan to try and cover like a wide spectrum, like one day like maybe like STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, math, or science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Um, all sorts of subjects. Pretty much the whole Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, maybe end of this year I might be able to do a good sort of a little tour guide of our Te Papa Museum and talk about some New Zealand history. But I digress. For these little fellas, I got to get better prepared. I think like build an aviary, maybe have. Well, there's the male. I think feeding the hen, so that's a good sign that they're still very well pair bonded. Um, but anyway, yeah, I got to get better prepared. I got to get a brooding incubator and maybe some Bengalese finches and maybe some type of thing for hatching eggs. If I want to try and hand rear some birds, like from even hatching their eggs if they're fertile, because you can get these eggs that hatch like quail and chickens and stuff with, and they can also hatch your birds if they're fertile. Yeah, they like have a bit of water in them, and you heat them and stuff. So I plan to get fully prepared with all the stuff I need for ornithology or aviculture kind of thing. Bit of crossover, I think, between those disciplines. But anyway, um, when I build my aviary, I plan to also have frogs because they're another type of sentinel. Um, yeah, frogs. Like when I say sentinel, I mean in the sense of like an indication of like environmental diseases and things like that going wrong. So um, the thing with the canary and the coal mine, like um, if the methane gas is too strong and the canary drops dead, the coal miners know to get out. Well, with the frogs, they uh, if they're thriving in your habitat, that's an indication that you have a good ecosystem. So when I build an aviary, I plan to have like sort of like part of it like a greenhouse, and part of it, maybe a decent little sort of a pond thing with tadpoles and that, going through their metamorphosis, and keeping the mosquito larvae back and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so and of course, when they turn into frogs, if they survive in the habitat, that gives an indication that the habitat is really good. So that's something else I plan to try and document. So yeah, this subject, is the aviculture and horticulture and ecology, you could say, sort of thing, with sentinels and that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, with the chicks in the nest, what I understand is that the older chicks tend to help with the incubation of the nest when they hatch, um, and that sort of thing. And yeah, so I thought maybe not to interfere, and try and take um, try not to take any out of the nest, any of the eggs out, and then put them back so they all hatch around the same time, like I hear the experts do. Um, yeah, because some things are like a double-edged sword, like yeah. But I try not to interfere. Try to let them get plenty of exercise and have lots of yum yums. I probably spoil them. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where things are at the moment. Um, I I also have to rig up more LEDs. That's why I got these LED strips. But to do that, I've got to get a new surge catcher, because that surge catcher up there kind of makes strange noises and isn't the best. So I've got to get a new one. I might get one from Mitre 10, and then I can rig up these LEDs, and they have a remote to them where I can control the level of brightness. So in the morning, when I get up in the morning about 5 in the morning, I can slowly mimic how the sun sets and that sort of thing, and I can kind of try and copy that and slowly wean the light in, rather than just abruptly give them light and maybe kind of disturb them a little. But I don't think they're stressed at all. So I don't think it was stress that caused maybe this bit of neglect. I think maybe it was just the cold, and also maybe she, her being a bit distracted with having a bath and trying to dry off. Yeah, so that was a bit of a bummer. But I don't think they died straight away. Because she went back on the nest and that, but then she seemed to still slowly keep doing prolonged kind of ventures out of the nest, and yeah, not sure what that was exactly about. Um, yeah, the chicks I think need to be about a week or two old before the canary parents can venture out of the nest for extended periods of time, because the babies don't have any way of really properly regulating their own body temperature, so they freeze to death. And I should have put the heater on in my room when she did that, but I I just thought she knew what she was doing. Um, yeah, so it was a bit of a bummer. Yeah, so I got to get some LEDs rigged up. In regards to my channel, I know it says ASMR videos. I had someone comment. I do plan to do ASMR vids at some point. Like some stuff with learning other languages like Greek and Turio. That is in the pipeline. I have a plan to produce ASMR vids. So I'm sorry if there aren't any yet. I do plan to. It is in the pipeline. It is part of the plan. That's why I mention it in the title. Um, yeah, so I plan to do like some ASMR vids with learning other languages like Greek and Tario, and have nice sort of soft ambient background noise, like birds singing, like native birds, like the morning chorus, maybe even like canary singing and stuff like that I've recorded and added to uh, the um, the videos. Yeah, particularly with learning Te Reo, because it's a New Zealand language, the Maori language. So yeah, that's a little bit about the Discovery Workshop ASMR. Um, it's got a broad scope, um, and the idea is it's about lateral thinking, you know, uh, covering a wide range of topics, but looking at things from various angles and that sort of stuff. Um, and yeah, getting through challenges, which this is a challenge because um, kind of flopped a bit, um, and I am at the moment kind of struggling with some health issues. Like I've got rheumatism and that, my knees badly bung, and same with my elbow. But yeah, this personal challenge. I am a bit of a peasant, so I don't have a lot of money for fancy equipment. I'm just filming this from off my phone. Um, yes, I plan to build a greenhouse soon, like maybe about 4.5 meters, a big one, um, and grow lots of food for the birds and also myself. Um, and yeah, I got the water tank all rigged up, so I'm going to use rainwater. Both tanks are full, only little water tanks, but I got to get more. And I've fitted wheels to one of to another pallet, um, so that other water tanks can be wheeled around the yard and rigged up for irrigation or something, or just water scooped out, in a watering can for watering things, or even just giving birds in the aviary water. Um, yeah, so kind of got things in the pipeline. Got a plan happening. Um, yeah, so yeah, aviculture and horticulture, I find seem to go hand in hand pretty well. Uh, yeah, which is horticulture, the sort of looking after plants and that. I think botany is where you're understanding more about plants, sort of like how aviculture is understanding more about birds. I mean, ornithology is understanding more about birds. Aviculture is like the looking after of birds. If I understand these terms correctly. Um, yeah, so I plan to grow plenty of beetroot in that because that helps with their plumage. Um, I also just recently found out that pomegranate seeds are also good for their plumage. So yeah, I plan to do a bit of that. I plan to see if I can. I want to grow all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. Um, yeah, he's looking beautiful. The male, I think I've conditioned him up well, spoiled him heaps. Um, yeah, so I think we're on the warmer part of spring that we're coming into. Um, I think it should be better for these birds, which should and it should hopefully help the hen maintain more of her brooding state, which is like where she's um, looking after the nest more, like keeping the babies warm um, and feeding them in that. But yeah, this was a bit of a flop. Um, Unfortunately, another flop. Yeah, because the first time she laid 3 eggs and none of them hatched. So I had to throw them out, and then she started again, and it seemed like she laid 4 eggs altogether. and then I think 3 of them hatched, and then I even saw one in the nest where it was doing that thing like begging for food, and I thought, oh well, she must be looking after it, and it, because it must have the, because if they're doing that, it means they've got the strength to, they got the strength in them. But when they're little like that, they are quite fragile, and they need to be need to be fed and looked after heaps by the parents. And so I think maybe she wasn't quite getting enough. But I do see the male feeding her often, and that, and I would have figured, and I did sort of see her poking around in her nest and that sort of thing. So I figured maybe she was feeding and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on. Um, but this was been a premature kind of thing because I paired them up too early. As I said earlier, the experts, when they do a cabinet thing, they divide the male and female, and then slowly, get them used to each other. When they see the male and female, when they see the male feeding the female and them flirting and that, then and him singing heaps and that sort of thing, and her starting to build a nest, like then they put them together. But with how I've done it, I've just let them, like try to enjoy themselves. So yeah. Um, yeah, so that's been how things have panned out. No success yet, but getting closer, getting a bit better. Yeah, I also plan to get into Japanese quails. So yeah, because you can buy them on Trade Me, the eggs, and then you can hatch them at home. So I want to get a hatching device and some things for brooding them and that, and raising them. So that would be cool because yeah, Japanese quail is another business because I don't think many people in New Zealand uh, do Japanese quail, but the Japanese quail eggs are often used in restaurants and that, and yeah, so Japanese quail, mealworms, and those composting worms. So a little worm farm I want to also have, and yeah, and also look into like raising birds like quails and maybe even canaries, like hand rearing them and taming them. Another one that's good is rainbow lorikeets, because they're expensive and they breed all year round. Rainbow lorikeets can be a bit of a, can be kind of a bread and butter bird. Um, if someone's into breeding birds for money, um, yeah, rainbow lorikeets. Zebra finches also breed all year round, but they're not particularly that expensive. It's the rainbow lorikeets. They're expensive, and they're even more expensive if they're hand reared and real super tame. Um, yeah, and also if I got a degree in biology or something with some papers in molecular genetics, I'd be set up for being able to tell the male and females apart with these kind of like non-dimorphic species of birds, because canaries, I think, they are a non-dimorphic species, so they're hard to tell apart. And same with rainbow lorikeets. But if you have a degree and if you know how to take DNA samples and uh, and determine the paternal and maternal lineages of your birds, you can tell the male and female apart that way, and you don't have to wait for them to come into condition to vent them. And so there'll be even breeders that'll pay you as a geneticist to tell them whether they're rainbow lorikeets, or whatever species of bird is male or female. And so you can make a bit of coin that way. Yeah, so a big aviary, I think, with rainbow lorikeets, that would be a bit of bread and butter. There's not a lot, I think, of money in ornithology and that, but I think aviculture, if you got expensive birds and that sort of thing, yeah, you can make a bit of money. So a hobby can become a career, which is pretty cool. Uh, Yeah. Also with understanding their DNA and all that, um, you'd be able to tell how much red siskin DNA red factors have on. They have. I think the ones that are influential on their plumage. I think the genes are located on chromosome 8 and chromosome 25, if I remember rightly, and that's what that's what is important to maintain if you're doing red factors, and that's what I want to specialize in is red factors. So knowing their birdies on the molecular level would be pretty awesome. Um, and I can talk a lot about that. Um, and Yeah, if you're breeding show standard red factors, you could get it down to even a finer art because you're not just knowing things um, on a sort of a superficial level. You're knowing them, like deeper. Um, yeah, so that's that's about it. I'm probably going to wrap it up here, but yeah, she's been out of the nest now, like yesterday, like for well over 40 minutes, and um, yeah, I don't know if there's much life in the nest now. Um, might be able to see an egg in there, um, but I don't really see much. Oh, it might be in the corner there. I think it's in the top. I think there is still an egg in there, but I'm not going to interfere. Um, if it's a new egg or if it's an old egg, I don't know. Um, and I could get my little headlamp on here, little headlamp, and sort of see if I can candle it. But I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna bother. Um, I'll just wrap it up here. Hopefully, I haven't bored my viewers. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and over and out. Cheers.